All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Ben's Brick Designs. I'm Ben. Happy Thursday. Thanks for being here. Hair's all over the place, but it's not why people are here. See my hair. Happy almost Friday to everybody here. Um, Hello, Johnny. So, yeah, we're going to jump right back into where we were before with a design, Microfighter design of the Discovery craft from um, 2001. Hello, Missy. How are you? Thanks for being here, guys. Appreciate it as always. This is the main ship where the entirety of the story of 2001 takes place, and so we're going to be working on that. What I thought I'd try to do tonight. Hello, Never Too Old. How are you? Thanks for being here. Is we're going to try building the sphere at first. So I should do build with instructions and then have the instructions be it won't do that, won't it? I don't want it to be the capture. I don't want it to be the, I don't know why it's not finding that. There we go. Well, except that's not really what I want. Oh, well, let's open this up and see if it'll give me. It won't. It doesn't like Studio as a window. I thought I've done this before, maybe with what's it called, OBS, but maybe it doesn't like it. So let's try to add a new thing real quick here in Prism. I'm going to add a window capture. I mean, that's all I'm doing is a window capture. There we go. And I'll just make it smaller. Yeah, so you can see what I'm doing. So this is the sphere. I kind of blew it up a little bit so I could see what I was doing. But basically, and this is sort of instructional for everybody who wants to build a lull sphere, is a bunch of these pieces as corners. And a couple level of stacking bricks. And the trick is to get some jumper plates involved to cover up some of the areas. And I've kept some of the jumper plates involved. But I made a lot of changes in order to use these pieces, the curved 1x4s, and these pieces, the curved 1x2s, right? To make them a little more round. Now, there is a chance for some part reduction here. In fact, let me go get that bag. In terms of, we don't need two of these here. We can have a square, a 2x2 instead. So I'm going to walk through that and see if that works. I don't think they make these in 2x4s. I think they're only 1x4s. So we'll see if this works. And it takes a lot of these guys, these washing machine bricks for this version of it, because I'm trying to add other components in there. So put it all together, looks like this. I took the back end off because I don't want to mess with the back end yet, but if we can reduce the piece count and it be stable, then we should be good. So like right here, I don't know why this isn't. Oh, I did this because I wanted seams along here, but we don't have to do this. But why don't we do, I don't know why I didn't do this in the first place. So I hope everybody's having a good day on your Friday Eve. So there's a replacement. Those can't really be replaced. That's kind of what it's going to be no matter what. These can all be replaced. So we'll replace a couple of them, and this should give it a little bit more stability on top of a part reduction. But I think that's all I can really do. Like, I want to keep this line going around it because there is a line. There's a big line going around here, and I kind of want to keep it around. There's a line that goes around the equator. You can't see it. I flipped over to it. We'll go back to that in a second once we're doing the rest of this. So let's see. Let's hide some of this, and we can see what's under here. So if you take a look, and there's these two. Okay, so that's what's in here. So to start, we're going to start with these two Travis bricks, and we're going to attach. I'm going to do clear only because I've got a lot of them and I like trying to keep the parts the same. So I can see kind of if there's something I need to change that I can change. All right, well, that doesn't work already. Why did I think that was going to work? So that screws up the, without even really going into it, it screws up the whole thing. Yeah, we can just go about our business. So it says it doesn't conflict, but it sure doesn't want to work unless those are the wrong types of pieces. Oh, you can see. No, that should. Busy in sorting and cataloging. That's cool. All right, well, as you can see, I've got a big structural problem. This is not going to work, even though in the software it works fine. So I don't know why, what the tolerance is here, but as you can see, it looks like it doesn't want to go in the right. So right off the bat, I'm going to have to rework this. So this should line up. I don't know how else to make it. I mean, it looks like it's lining up. Yeah, Studio was way wrong. You can see the stud lining up with the anti-stud on the top. And you can see the face lining up with this. So Studio has led me astray, which means we got to figure out something else. So all of this is wrong. And the reason these are needed in here is to hold these in place. So I have another way to do it. Maybe. So let's get rid of all of these, because that's not going to work for any of them. Just get rid of that. That should lower our piece count, first of all. Oh, except... Nope, doesn't work for any of that. All right. So, at the very least, we're going to start by doing these guys together. In which case, I may need to have these guys be the 1x4 size, so I can hold this together, because otherwise it won't hold together. So let's go with that premise. I don't need the stripe around it. Let's put it all together here, and we'll get rid of these guys, and we'll get rid of these guys. The only ones that I need to be different are going to be these two up here, because they come in, those are the only ones that come in the trans clear color. So I may need the rest of these for structural integrity now. And I think it should still work, but we'll see. All right, so that's kind of the problem with Lowell spheres too, is I don't exactly know where to start. You just kind of have to start on a corner and go. And then we're going to use white pieces, white jumpers. Yeah, that's disappointing. Like, I really thought the math was going to work out on that, and it looked like it was going to work, and it looked all pretty, and the program said, nah, I don't think so. I don't think that's going to work out for you all that much. So this doesn't connect to anything, is my concern. Yeah, this is my concern now, is these are floating. So what I need is something in between these two snot bricks that will work. Or that will hold at least this section together. And it's not 100% necessary. Like, I could figure out a different way to have a little round thing in there, but all right, let's see if we can get the rest of this going. So over on this side, we're gonna have this. And we're gonna have these two guys. These 1x4 bricks, I don't know if you can tell, they're in kind of like a silver, metallic ink silver. Look at how gross that print is. It's not cracked, that's just the print. And I've got like a whole bag of these. It's got like this kind of crease on the top of it. And they're all like that. Got a bad batch somewhere. Okay, so this is like this. And then what is holding these guys up? So there's nothing in here. And there's nothing in here. I don't think this is gonna work. So I can put two of these. And luckily, I've got a bunch of silver ones of these too, so I can cover the whole thing. But there's nothing to hold them in here like this. There's the jumper plates and that's it. So what I was what I was counting on was getting those little headlight bricks in the middle there, hold the bottom and the top of these curved plates on. So now that I'm looking at it, what's something that can go in there? Yeah, I have no idea. Okay, so let's go to the design screen. We'll take a look at what is going on here. So you can see I had to remove all those headlight bricks, which means these sections aren't going to be able to be held up. So we're back to, I don't know where the where that image was, but I spent all that time trying to figure out how to do it. But so I still think you should be able to cover some of these if I did it a certain way. It should still work. So let's do this. Let's build a lull sphere physically and then cover it in slopes and see what it looks like. Maybe that'll give us a better idea. So let's go back and find those instructions and we'll just go from here. And we'll do it physically and we'll just see what it looks like. So I got these. I've got jumpers. And I need 1x4s and 2x2s. And I need a bunch of corner plates. Okay. So we'll go back to build. And maybe I can do full sphere instructions. There we go. That's helpful. Okay. So let's do a lot of these green. I don't think I have 24 of them though, so let's just use white. I'll have to do these a few times. So hopefully have enough. And yeah, looking at this now, maybe I made this more complicated than I need to. I think I could just cover what has been exposed with curved plates rather than replacing them with curved plates. So we shall see. And that. So we got to do this 6 times. I wish I had time lapse here for you, but I don't. Luckily, I just have all the pieces right here that we need. So I was watching Mythbusters today because that's what I do. I work, I eat, I sleep, I get done with work, I watch Mythbusters, I eat, I do Lego stuff. That's kind of it. And I was looking up, there's a lady who was a temporary host while, if you're not familiar with Mythbusters, they're basically the 2 main guys, Adam Savage and Jamie Heineman, and they are the guys that started it. And I don't know the lore behind how they each got to be there, but Adam had worked in the business, in the special effects business for a long time, and Jamie had a workshop, and so they kind of, I think somebody said we should do a show with you guys doing stuff, busting myths. I don't know the genesis of it, but anyway, after a couple of years, they got some help in the form of what they called the build team. But for all intents and purposes, there were 5 Mythbusters for a great number of years. And the other ones were Tori Belleci, Grant Imahara, and Kerry Byron. Now, Grant Imahara passed a few years ago, or a couple years ago. He was in his 40s. I think he just died of like pneumonia or something. I forget, but he passed away a few years ago. During the 6th or 7th season, I forget what season I'm on right now, but Carrie on the build team was pregnant and took a leave from the show and was had a substitute come in for named Jesse Combs. And Jesse was a metal gearhead, done some was pretty good with welding and coming up with some creative build stuff. So they, put her in there. And most of the time, I think they all start out as interns, and they have to impress Jamie, I think, for the most part. So she came in to fill in for Carrie, and then I think after a while, Carrie comes back, and I think that was kind of the end of Jesse's run. I don't know how long she lasts. I haven't got that far yet. So I look her up because I was like, well, I wonder what ever happened to her. I kind of look up. I watch Adam Savage's Tested on YouTube as often as they post. So I don't, I'm not missing out on his exploits because he's always there for me. I thought I had enough of those dark blue ones, but I guess I don't. We're going to have to switch colors now. Let's go back to gray. And then I saw an interview with Kerry Byron. Craig Ferguson has a podcast where he basically has on people that he just really likes and likes talking to. And he's had most of the Mythbusters on already. And so I was like, well, what about Jessie? So I looked up Jessie. She apparently died in 2019 of breaking the land speed record. She was in a four-wheel, the fastest, I think she has the title of fastest woman on four wheels, and she broke a land speed record, but in the process of trying to re-break it or get a new record, the car failed, the front wheels of the car failed, and she was going 500 miles an hour. So the cause of death was blunt force trauma, basically. And I was like, oh man, that sucks. So I was just watching a scene where she and Grant are up on a building and they're in a safety harness and they're getting ready to do a stunt or a thing to prove something. And I'm like, I'm looking at a screen with two of these people are no longer with us. That was kind of sad. So there you go. Hope that made your day. Sent it to the family chat and I was like, well, this sucks. I mean, it's bad enough when Grant died, but so here you go. This is for all you Pennsylvanians. I thought Yuengling was from Pennsylvania, but it's from Fort Worth. So anyway, cheers. That almost went all over my keyboard. It's sad, but at the same time, I'm like, she went out driving a car 500 miles an hour, 530 or 60 or something like that. She was going balls to the wall, breaking a land speed record, doing what she loved to do. So it's sad because she was young. I think she was like 39 or something like that. But I mean, blaze of glory, probably instantaneous too. I mean, you're going that fast and it just hits. I can't imagine there was anything lingering, right? All right, so once you've got all these panels done, you just attach the Travis bricks to the base and then just start attaching these to them. Oh, not that one. And you kind of have to rotate it so the jumper plates kind of offset. And you just keep doing that until it's all done. And actually, you probably need to do this first before you do that. I would put this second one up here. And make sure the jumper plates match it. So top and bottom. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was a PA brewery. Maybe it's bottled in Fort Worth. Oh, this is fiddly. It's fiddly, but I feel like once you get it together, it's not. Would help. POS. It would help if these things were not attached to the wrong. You have to be careful because the Travis bricks have open studs and these plates have anti-bricks that are anti-studs that are perfect for the open studs. So but yeah, I mean, it's sad, but kind of like, what a way to go, you know? 500 miles an hour with your hair on fire. All right, so now we've got a nice Lowell sphere. So look up the instructions, Lowell sphere. It's very round, it's very sturdy, and there's nothing in there. So now what we're gonna do is we're going to cover it in these tiles and see what we have to do to make it look good. Because I think a lull sphere by itself is going to be a lot of parts. And it's going to leave gaps. So you can already see there's going to be gaps. But we'll see what it looks like. And I am going to rotate them. So we'll see what it looks like. Oh, that's right. Brain aneurysm. Again, probably instantaneous. Probably not even, aware of it. Oh, man. One thing I hate about curved slopes are some of the best pieces that Lego makes, but for the love of goodness gracious, put a groove underneath it. They're impossible to get apart. You have to be really lucky that there's a seam in there that you can kind of wedge a fingernail or a brick separator into it. The half ones, the 1x2s, are just as bad. See, and these even have, like, the metallic ones must have a thing that, I don't know if you can kind of see that, like, crease in it. It's kind of bad. But this is a lot of pieces already. Like, this is probably going to be more than a regular Microfighter is going to have. So, speaking of Microfighters, I saw, and I posted this somewhere, and it was hard to read because the ads were just all over the place. But there's some speculation stuff out about sets that are coming out, Star Wars sets that are coming out before the end of the year, ones that haven't already been announced. And one that I thought was interesting was a Plo Koon Microfighter. That's all it said. It didn't say what ship it was going to be, just Plo Koon Microfighter. I'm like, all right, well, that is that's a Delta 7, which the irony being, that's what everybody remembers him as, is the guy who, like, bit it, who got shot down during Order 66. He was in the Clone Wars cartoon, the Clone Wars show, but he wasn't in the movie at all, really. You kind of see him standing around for some stuff, and the next thing you know, he's being shot down in his Delta 7 Jedi Interceptor. So, all right, so there's no, don't like being, well, it doesn't matter. Anyway, there's a green panel on one side, but this is what it looks like. I can replace all this stuff in here with gray parts, but I think that's too much. If I was doing, so what I want to do, now that we got the slopes on here, what I want to do is figure out is how to replace some of the plates here with the slopes so that everything shrinks a little bit, right? So it's reduced a little bit. But I think that's going to be a very hard thing to do. But if we're able to get just one panel off, we might be able to see kind of how it's done. So I'm going to try to take these 4 panels off. So if we're looking at this, this has got to be held together. Now, if we put... Yeah, the problem becomes it's these angled, or it's these corner bricks that make it, or corner plates. That's allowing the jumper plates to go a little farther out, but also be covered all the way down. So if we can take this apart, I'll show you. Big if here, because these curved slopes are super fun. Yeah, so there was talk about the Plo Koon. I didn't really look at the rest of it. That one is the one that caught my eye because I'm probably not going to get anything else. I'm going to ruin my fingernails. I've got a razor blade. Let me try that. This should end well. Don't try this at home, kids. Speaking of Mythbusters, do not try this at home. Just getting the razor blade in there has just cut that thing to shreds. Just trying to get it underneath the lip. So these are all ruined. Soundwave. Okay, that makes sense. I think they're probably going to do Soundwave and Starscream. And I can buy that, and I probably will buy that. And I know they can't do Megatron. I get it, and I'm gonna let that one go. They probably got all kinds of focus groups right now, trying to figure out how they can justify. Because I know they want to. They have to want to. They have to be thinking, why can't we do Megatron? And they have to be backpedaling over themselves, trying to figure out how to be able to do a Walther P-38 without it being seen as them backtracking over years of we don't do guns, we don't do war, we don't do blah, blah, blah. I mean, technically, a transformer is he changes it, like if his, like the whole silencer and butt grip brace, whatever that's called, stock, that collapsible stock in the sight. I don't think those are standard on a P-38, so you could technically say it's a fantasy weapon. Much like the little blasters in Star Wars. So yeah, I don't think anyone would have a problem, even if they like went with the we have to put an orange nose cone on the front of the blaster or something. I mean, like, I can get that, you know. His cannon is a sight, is the sight on the gun, so that's not going to be a problem. The actual barrel of the gun kind of goes up behind him anyway. So if that's like a different color or it moves kind of a different way, then I'd be okay with that. All right. So the idea is to try to make this out of these pieces. So that's what we're going to try to do physically without the software. So what I need is jumper plates in between here. And I need something over the top. These two guys. Hello. So these two guys will be holding it in place. Holding the two jumper plates in place. Yeah, if you're going to do Prime and his lieutenant, you're going to have to do Megatron and his lieutenant. And I know Starscream is usually seen as the second in command, but I always felt like Soundwave would be better. but I have a feeling they're going to cave and do Soundwave and Starscream. So, all right, this is what I want it to look like. So, like, I can't hold it up because it'll fall apart. But then when you flip it over, and if we were to, so let me put a square plate in there. I have to go get a square plate. Do I? Yeah, I'm gonna go get some square plates. My OCD is kicking in because I need to have them of the same color, but it's so dark over in that corner of the Lego room that I can't really tell the old gray from the new gray, so this is about as good as I can get. So yeah, they can probably get away with saying it's a fantasy weapon because he's obviously a robot that turns into a fantasy weapon. Or they go, he's a tank route, which I think would be kind of I think it would be copping out because we've got sort of G1 looks for everybody else. Bumblebee, the car on Bumblebee is not perfect, but it's still supposed to be a VW bug-ish. I know it's not great. It's not perfect, but I think it looks okay. And size-wise, he's a little bigger than he should be, but... Okay. There needs to be a piece that's 4 long, open stud, 2 on the end, like the tile, and then 1 in the middle. That would solve my problem. It's the only thing that'll fix this. It's the only thing that'll make that work. Because this is being held together by these square plates, so... yeah, I don't know how else to do this. Any ideas? So let me bring it up on the screen, the big screen, so you can see kind of where we're at. So in order to do this, I'm going to lay this out flat. This is what I've got so far. Let's get a side that has that all ready to go. And none of them do. Okay, cool. This. These 2. Should be it. And then that plate. Get in there. Okay. So another thing that was seen was a new Space Baby Lego thing. I know Johnny doesn't like it. I think Missy said she does like it. I like it. I like the idea of it. I wish it was I think I'm gonna leave these gray so I can see them. I wish it was either the monorail the monorail space transport or whatever it is that was classic space, or the Futron version, right? It would have been really easy to put a little to make one the base in the middle just one section of the monorail space because the car is already the train on the monorail is already the train from the Futron monorail. The base is the base from the monorail rocket transport system or whatever, where it's just a base with like a slidey thing that has a rocket going like this. That's the monorail. And I like that they've tried to combine it. And it makes sense for that scale. I just kind of wish they would do, if you're going to do it, give us little space babies that have like the Futron yellow, red with this, with like the slash. I know that'd be hard to do on that little bitty torso, but I'm kind of over the, or different colored space babies. Give us an orange and a yellow and a black or something like that. So the whole reason to have the jumper plates in here is to give the sphere roundedness. It's to make it look a little more round. Now they're not 100% needed. I could just make a sphere out of the sloped parts and the Travis bricks, and it might actually work. You want a re-release of 6990 or whatever, the monorail base, like they did with the Blacktron. So if I got rid of these, what does that give me? And if I put Travis bricks in here, I almost feel like there needs to be an internal structure, because I can make, let me show you. This might be both fewer pieces and less and more pieces. We're going to try something. So ideally we want these over here. Okay, and then these will attach here. These will attach here. I'm going to go ahead and warn you. I had a major coughing fit like an hour ago. And I think it goes like this. It's either allergies or drainage or something, but I almost canceled tonight. So if I have another fit and can't figure out how to get out of it, I may just pause the whole thing. But I thought I'd give everybody a heads up. So here's your, this should work on its own. And then just have to figure out how to put these guys in here. because I don't really need the jumper plates to make this rounder. It'd be nice, but they're not 100% necessary. So they would sit in here like this. And they would be on every surface. So they would be on this surface, and they would be on this surface, and they would be on this surface, and they would be on this surface. And they would be on surface. So just like over here. And then we need to figure out how to get these guys, how to get 6 of these guys in place. So we need 1. Nope. 1. 2. And this is not going to line up very well, but something like this. And then like that. Now, since whoever it was that designed this, all curved slope Travis or a Lowell sphere, since I can't find them and they are very hard to track down, we're going to have to make some educated guesses as to how this gets put together. And again, I don't necessarily think that these jumper plates need to be in here. But I'd be willing to leave them if it meant I don't know. The other thing is these guys have a single thing right here. So if I wanted to reduce part size, I could always put one of these guys in there like that. Does the same thing, cuts your parts down by half of those guys, right? And it affords you a single stud in the middle here to go across if you needed that for any reason. Which might come in handy here in a second. I don't know how, but the monorail. Yeah, I've rebuilt mine every once in a while. I have all the major parts like you do, I'm guessing. The big curved translucent quarter panels for the part that kind of separates a little bit, right? Swings open. The curved ones that go up on the top. I have all the track. I think I have all the stanchions for the track. I have the engine and the battery pack somewhere. The canopies for the train. I think there's a handful of like smaller bricks that I might not have, or like trans red antennas. Okay. So if I got rid of all these, Let's just move these. I won't delete them just yet, but let's see if we can move them over here. And you too. Let's move you over here. Yo.
Hi.
What's up?
Nothing.
How was work?
Tired.
Okay.
Oh, did you put the...
I did. It's in the fridge. I left the box out because it had all the stabby stuff. You have another. You got another shipment of something too.
Okay.
Another thing. It's in there. Okay. Yeah, it's 9 o'clock. All right, I'll be there in an hour. So I'll join you shortly. So this is a bit of a problem. This is a bit of a conundrum. I feel like there's a way to connect these two pieces across here, but you'd have to do it on every side. So if you did it here, then you'd have to do it here, then you'd have to do it, you know. And it's to use this, but I'm not exactly sure how. So what I was thinking too is in the middle here, these pieces. You could get away with Travis bricks are 6-sided. So you could do something akin to this is going to be really weird, but what's up, Cliff? How are you? Good sir. I'm going to brighten this a little bit so I can see what's going on. These may not exist in this color, but... So if you take a bunch of these and you put them on here, and then you put bars in here, you can kind of make a little like Sputnik thing that's got bars and whatever. I don't know how else to describe it, but so the hard part then is to get, you can get the 2L, there's a new 2L bar, and try to, I don't know how far these go in. At some point they're going to run into each other inside here. So you got to, you know, I don't know how to tell that they're not running into each other, but they're equidistant apart. And I don't think that's it. That may be better. That may be better. But this is so fiddly. Like, I wouldn't want to do this. I have no way of telling now how far down that goes. So what we're going to do is going to put this other one in here. We're going to delete. We're going to hide this and see how that looks. Nope, don't hide that one. We're going to adjust all these so they're within the sphere of influence without bumping into each other. I wouldn't want to make this. I wouldn't want to make instructions for this for anybody. But I can't think of another way to like make this work. And here's the thing. Once this is all done, how do you get it in here? Inquiring minds want to know. I should really group these. It's going to be easier to move around if I do. Group. I should have just copied these. Group. Group. This is kind of just an exercise in building now. It's not really even trying to figure out how to make the ship. I just kind of want to see what this looks like. So it looks like there's room now for this thing. And if I just slid this all over, it would probably fit. But the trick is now how to attach that. I can even push it out a little farther. But I mean, that fits. You know? It's not as round because so if we were to take this off and put another plate here, it would stick out farther. And it would look better. It would look like the model's supposed to. If we did that all over, right? But again, how many pieces is this? 34. It's not terrible. How many pieces is this? 68. So add another 6 for those pieces that I just put in there. That's 40 parts. And then figuring out how to get this guy to attach to these other things. It's just such a nightmare. So I think I'm going to work on this a little bit offline. This one's kind of bugging me. And I don't want to keep hammering my head on it on stream because I feel like that's kind of... I just kind of have to sit with it for a little bit. Like there's got to be a... I almost feel like there could be a piece that... All right, if I wanted to have those jumper plates in here, let's put those jumper plates back. If I can figure out how to do that. These should all just go fit back in here. And then we'll put these guys back in here. I like the idea of replacing them with just one jumper plate. Call that guy hot green. So I can see them all. I feel like there's another way. These are already attached. I just need another way to get this guy. And it doesn't even have to have this plate in it. It can just be this if we can figure out another way to get him to attach here. That's all I'm trying to do. So it sits in here like this. Actually, let's put the plate back in there so I can see where it runs into it. Cliff, what have you been up to, man? How's things? How's your, I heard the post, you said your wife went to the emergency room. Is everybody okay? So right about there. And if I went, oh, no, that wouldn't work either. Okay. Let's do this and just see if this affords us anything. We should be able to go in there. I thought for a hot second I could put a 3, but then I'd have to do that all over the place. So let's get rid of all those and put these in its place. Okay. Does that give me anything in terms of attaching this guy? And again, we're figuring out that these that didn't work with this. Oh, I took them out already. With the headlight bricks being in here, even though it said it did. All right, I'm going to sit with this a little bit, so I appreciate your patience. The other thing I was going to try tonight is I know that one of the other things on my list was to do another non-Star Wars Microfighter, and it was a car. It was the A-Team van. So what I was thinking of doing is maybe doing a Mr. T, as best as I can, Mr. T minifigure in studio. Now, for those who aren't aware, who don't know who Mr. T is a personality. He was a wrestler. He was a boxer. He was a actor. He did like an album, made a rap album of something. He did commercials. He was in movies. He did lots of stuff. You may have seen him in, I think, Rocky 3. Yeah, Rocky 3. I Pity the Fool. He wore a lot of jewelry. He had a mohawk. He got in his later years, he got real religious. I think a little conservative, but I don't know. But he was always kind of like this is kind of him now, I think. Don't even know if he's still alive, honestly. I pity fool. I pity fool don't drink his milk. Yeah, he's still alive. 72. So let's see what we can do in studio to make a Mr. T. First, you got to have a mohawk. You got to have a mohawk. But his mohawk is very subdued, so it's just a little thing, and I think this will go perfect. So then we need a beard. We need a head with a beard. And this is pretty good. I mean, already. Is there one where he's not angry? Although him being angry would be great. And it's a full beard too, so maybe that one. Got the big chops, right? But those... Okay, I think that's it. I think that's a good one. So he doesn't have like two-sided. Okay, no. Pity the fool. So this has to be in reddish brown. He pitied a fool. Now, he also wore lots of jewelry. Lots of jewelry. Like, and with the greaves and the rings, and like, we're not gonna be able to do that. Maybe that's weird. I wanted that picture and it gave me another picture. There's a great AI picture. No, that nobody wants. That's pretty good. Pretty good shot right there. This is kind of how I remember him. He was a little heavier than some of these pictures. A lot of these pictures are like him now. Mr. T and Mr. Robin's Neighborhood on Saturday Night Live. That was pretty fun. So if we did a vest, I don't know that we're going to get a good... I'm going to change the background too so we can see it a little better. Because that gray is just a problem. That's a little better. Nope. What is his vest? It's just a denim vest. I'm not going to be able to find the exact, like, he, you know, with the sort of the Mexican poncho material on the top. I don't think I'll be able to do bling. Like, I won't be able to type in bling. So it's going to be hard to find something that fits, especially if I type necklaces and it's all torsos with cleavage. Oh, honestly, that's not terrible. Yeah, that's not terrible. All right, right arm. Let's see if we can find something with some print on it that's fun. He always has jewelry on, but he also has like these things on his arms. And I don't know what, and here we go again with the, if you've got a print on it, show the side that has the print. Why would you not do that? Those are Ghostbuster arms. And I could do like that. He's got one thing, and then the other arm just doesn't have anything on it. Hand. Let's do left arm. Oh, that was the left arm. Now, the whole reason I would do this is, again, the nope, I guess I had it right the first time. I have to turn around, which is my left. The Mr. T was in a show called The A-Team, for you youngins out there who don't know what The A-Team is. It was basically just a show. Does he have any tattoos? I didn't think he had any tattoos. big dude. I guess you could kind of put him in any outfit. I don't have anything that there's no Lego thing that would have him be full of chains. So, Luffy, how are you? So in the 80s there was a show called The A-Team. If you have trouble, if no one else can help, and if you can find them, maybe you can hire the A-Team. Blah 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 blah. Luffy, we were working on some Lowell sphere concepts for the 2001 ship that I was working on, but I got frustrated, and this is too bright. So I'm gonna let my brain sleep on it a little bit and come back to it later, and see if that works a little bit. L'agence to risque. Oh, really? The risk agency? L'agence. Silver? No, that's argent. That's hilarious that it's called l'agence to risque. Let's see. Hip. Oh, I was going to do hand. Anywho, 80s show, 4 guys. Oh, like team. Okay, cool. I gotcha. Don't need a print. And these were 4 special forces guys. And they came back. Basically, they were vets. And the world that they came back to, they didn't fully understand. So they became mercenaries. And basically mercenaries. But it was help for hire. So if you had a problem and no one else could help, and if you could find them, you could hire the A-Team. So they were these guys that would let's see, do I want blue jeans? I think I see them always in blue jeans. So let's just do what is going on with these? Okay. And it had oh, I can't remember the dude's name now. First it had, well, obviously it had Mr. T. It also had Dwight Schultz, who was also Lieutenant Barclay on Next Generation. It had what's his name? I'm blanking now. The guy who plays Starbuck in Battlestar Galactica, the old 70s Galactica. Yeah, it was Hannibal, BA, Faceman, and can't think of Schultz's name now. He was a crazy guy. And there we go. Mr. T. It was a pretty good Mr. T. Pretty good approximation. All right, so I'm going to look up the A-Team now because I don't remember. It was Faceman. I was also trying to remember the actors, and I couldn't remember the actors. Characters, there we go. George Papard, that's who I was thinking of. Dirk Benedict, there we go. Dwight Schultz, Howlin' Mad Murdoch, HM, Howlin' Mad Murdoch. I like how his initials are HM, and so they just gave him the name Howlin' Mad. So like they each had their specialties. You know, one was like disguise, one was explosives, one was weaponry, one was mechanics, that kind of thing. And so they were this team that would investigate crimes, or they would investigate, but they would be like, hey, this guy did something bad to me, can you go take care of him? And they'd go and they'd kind of, the story always went, they'd go like do a little reconnaissance and find out, and they'd dress up and they'd have costumes and they'd go kind of undercover and find out what's going on, and then come back and realize, oh, we got to fight them. And then they usually have a montage where they build a tank out of a Yugo. You know, they have this huge thing. And that was always the best part of the show, was the montage, because the music would kick in. There'd be welding, there'd be big pieces of metal, there'd be music, you know. So it was a lot of fun. It was super formulaic. Nobody ever got shot. There was guns everywhere and nobody ever got shot. And the one quirk that B.A. Baracus had, B.A. being bad attitude Baracus, again, Bosco, and I guess the A stood for something, was that he couldn't fly. Like, he hated flying. He would get very sick and he would get very afraid, and he just hated flying. So every episode was always, couldn't have been in LA. They're like, oh, we got to go to Panama, or we got to go to Italy or something like that. And it was always backlots in Hollywood. It was never actually going to Rome. But they'd have to get him to drink milk that was laced with sleeping medicine. They'd have to drug him to get him on a plane. And so there was a running gag of, how do they get him to drink something? And it's usually milk. And he would catch on, like in like the third episode, he's like, I don't drink no milk, you know. So this is the van that they drove around, and this was their, which is going to be super easy to do. It's just a black van with a red stripe. I think the red stripe's going to be the hardest part. It's got red rims by the looks of it. I think it's lighter up top slightly, so we could do black and dark gray. It's hard to tell, really. But it's just a GMC van with like a guard up at the front. There's a piece that looks exactly like this, I'm pretty sure. So there aren't many. I've done a couple. I did a Batmobile. We did 2 Batmobiles. So the animated series Batmobile and the 1989 Batmobile. So these are, again, this color is, I'm not finding a good color here to see everything. Maybe do a blue. Let's do like a light blue. No. This is where I'm at now. I'm just trying to pick a good way to see everything. A dark blue? This may be it. Oh, that's good. Part of the problem is these lights are like shining in my face. So I don't think I've done any other cars, but this is about how big these cars are. I'm really happy with this one. I think these two look great. And I need to get more Batmen so I can build these, because I think you can get, let's take a look. I'm so going off on tangents right now. Batman minifigures. So there's only 393 Batman figures. That's way more than I thought there was going to be. All right, so we can eliminate like Pirate Batman, Gas Mask Batman, Nightmare, Roller Disco, Tiger Tuxedo. I'm looking for like the basic. If they've got one that says like animated series, a lot of these are attached to like the games. An armored one maybe would be good. This probably is a good one for the 1989 set. And it looks like it came in a 1989 set. This is a Comic-Con exclusive. This looks like maybe a Christian Bale Batman. So there's lots of, like, you have to see what, I think this is the end of the Lego Batman stuff at this point. Here's a classic Batman with short legs. So if you got regular legs on him, this could be a good Adam West Batman. This would be another good Christian Bale Batman. I don't think we're gonna get, yeah, there we go, Adam West type. I don't think we're gonna get like Val Kilmer Batman. Oh, so this one goes with the Tumbler, either of those two. So this is your Christian Bale one. So yeah, getting a lot of maybe cartoon accurate ones or something like that, because there's a lot of Batmobiles too. So make a ton of Batmobiles. I think I actually even, I tried making all the different Batmen. So there's one cowl that has an open face on it, which I thought was really interesting. So I tried to do a couple, like Keaton, Frank Miller, TV accurate, you know, Dark Knight Returns, something like that. So anyway. Oh, basically it's a Charger, isn't it? Isn't just the new Batman the Batman? Isn't it just like a Dodge Charger or something? Yeah, this one. That kind of thing. It's pretty cool. Another to add to the list, the Robert Pattinson version. So anyway, all that to say, I wanted to keep that up. A team van. The decision to make a vehicle, I don't need that. I don't need that. You have to decide how wide you want it. Now, in most cases, a 4 wide is probably good. You can do a 4 wide. For a minifigure or for a microfighter, 4 wide would probably be the best. 5 wide might be pushing it, but that can be done. You do some jumper plates in there. Those 1x3 jumper plates, and have them sit in the middle. But you can start by having the wheelbase. And can I break that apart? This already has the wheel in it. So what I want though, if we did a wheelbase like that, I think that's a little narrow for a van. So what I might do, I think I want to try to do a 5 wide for a van. Make it real chunky, right? Short, but wide, right? So, there are, I think, 1x2 axle plates. Maybe not. Did I spell axle wrong? No, I spelled it right. Oh, printed. I don't want it printed. Yes, I saw the Andor 2 trailer, and I dug it. I know the choice of song for the trailer wasn't everybody's cup of tea, but I felt it was. I think it worked great. Find compatible bricks. See if it'll get me. I sure thought there was like a 1x2. There it is. I knew it was here. So this will give us the ability to do a 5 wide. So if we do this and do, I guess, a 1x4 would have too. Or 2x4 axle plate. What is this just called? Wheel holder. That's so dumb. So dumb. Yeah, I really liked the trailer. I'm excited for the show. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. What color does that come in? The bluish gray is good. This will give us a little more stability. Do 2 of these, and we'll do a 1x5 plate. I am excited to see it. I did not mind the music on the trailer at all. I thought it was fine. I thought it worked with the... Honestly, I thought the idea of like a folk song talking about revolution works for Andor. I don't know why people had a problem with it. I think it's a pop song, and you're kind of used to it orchestral. Sort of the same reaction people had for Star Trek Enterprise when that sort of Bon Jovi type song comes out as the theme song, and everyone's like, and I don't think anybody really appreciates it anymore. It doesn't, I don't think it aged well, but I think it grew on some people. So they do come in red. Look at that. Bam. So I got my wheels because the rims are red. At least in some of them they are. So I'm most of the way there already. Probably do bigger wheels, but I don't know. Oh, cool. So I saw there's something. The TIE Fighter is a TIE Avenger. It is something that was only really seen in the TIE Fighter games, the X-Wing and TIE Fighter games. But the ship is 100% a TIE Avenger. I don't know how they're going to talk about it or explain it, but it's this ship. I know a couple of people kept saying it looks like it's a prototype TIE Interceptor or a new TIE Interceptor or something. I was like, no, it's a TIE Avenger. They were called TIE Advanced for a little bit, but they changed it, and now it's TIE Avenger. But this is 100% the ship. So I did see him in the trailer, and he's got what looks like a red flight suit on almost, and I'm wondering if that's part of it. The scene where he's in the ship, he just has like a rebel jacket, right? It looks, I think he may have that flight suit on, but that'd be cool. I'd like to see that. I'm sure there's going to be, honestly, if Lego doesn't make this, I'm going to be really surprised. But they didn't make Luthien's ship either, and Luthien's ship in the first season was one of the best space ship scenes in Star Wars, period. Like, it was so good. With the Arrestor Cruiser, the nod to Colin Cantwell, and him fleeing and doing all the kind of spy gadgety stuff. It was like an Aston Martin in space. It was amazing. So I'd be shocked if Lego didn't do this. So I like this. I think this is my best, and it's got the little lights on it too. I need to see if there's that grill piece. I know this exists. It's not a roll bar, but it's a it's gonna have a name like modified plate bar or something. No, I know it's out there. I'm just trying to think. Put in guard. Maybe it's under like guard. Ah, here we go. That's it. Nailed it. That's all I needed. That little piece. That's going to make the whole set right here. It's going to make the whole thing. And if it doesn't come in black, I'm going to be so sad. It only comes in black. I'm going to make this thing tomorrow. Look at that. I don't even care about the stripe now. The Razor Crest is memorable, but I know that it was given a little bit of a... Like, it's weird. Everybody really liked it who watched the show, but there is a community of Star Wars ship nerds like myself who were like, it's fine as a ship. You know, I don't understand. He's a gun for hire, and he's got this clanky old ship that is hard to take care of, right? He's not a smuggler, so why does he need all this space? He's a bounty hunter, right? Bounty hunters need fast ships with lots of armament, and his barely had any armament, and it barely had any armor. Like, it took a bit of punishment, but it wasn't like, he wasn't like knocking people out of the sky. I think once or twice he did, but so when they blew it up, it was a huge, like, I liked the ship a lot. I thought it was very cool. I thought it was one of the better designs they'd had in a while. I liked the idea that it kind of sort of looked like one of the LAAT ships, but just different enough to where you could see, like, you could see the distinction of this was the same shipyard or the same ship developers that made this. Maybe way back in the, you know, right after the Clone Wars were done, they tried doing an Imperial version of it and it just never took off. So they made this, and like a handful of them got built, and they got picked up by local system patrol people or small security forces or bounty hunters or smugglers, you know. So it's fun thinking that there's probably only 100 of these in the galaxy or something. And then I think as a nod to the Clone Wars, they brought back the N1 Starfighter. And it's fine. Like, I like the idea that it's a quick Starfighter now, but it's sort of him being separated from the ship and not getting another ship that allows him to do bounty hunting again really, really changes his character, right? And it's almost the equivalent of like trading in the van that you, or trading in the sports car. I was going to say van that you brought your band around in, but like trading in your sports car for a minivan, right? You've obviously made a decision. You're now more focused on your family or being able to carry stuff. So he was less focused on being able to bring people in as he was, I got to take care of this little one, so make sure there's a little cockpit in the back for him. So there's a whole like discussion about the Razor Crest and the new ship and everything, but I liked it. I thought it was great. Let's see. We're gonna need wheel wells. They're not called mud guards. They're called. Some of these are probably going to be useful here, though, so. But they're probably going to be very big. That's going to be too trucker-ish. Like these. We need some of these. In black. Let's put a plate above this. I thought there was another one of these that was just a 2 plate. I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah, the slave one's a good example of that. You could haul stuff. You could put people in it. It had weapons out the wazoo. But again, it was one of these. This is 40 cents. It was one of those ships that was, I think this is too big. Yeah, it's too big. I think that's too big too. That's a good size. It was one of those ships that was built to be a security ship. That doesn't sit right. So how do I make this sit right? It needs to be like halfway in between this. So jumper plates it is, I guess. The Skip Ray Blast Boat, Boba Fett's ship, was designed to be a security security ship, right? That's why it had areas for hauling people, because it needed to haul people that were being arrested. So it was a local security ship, and it wasn't designed to be super fast. It had minimal weapons, and so he got one off market somewhere and loaded it up. Attach that later. So we're gonna have 2 of these. Meanwhile, Slave 2 is an ugly ship. It is not good looking, and I barely even want to know that it exists. There was talk that Boba Fett was going to show up in the Slave 2 because they didn't think the Slave 1 survived. But how come sometimes... There we go. I need him to sit, and I need you to be grouped. That's a pretty matching wheelbase. Pretty good. Let's put... I want to attach this with something, so let's put a 1x8 plate just to make it, give it some distance so I know how big to make this. This should be a pretty good size. Actually, 5 wide is going to be a little much. I may go back to 4. I don't think it's going to need to be that chonky. A team van. Yeah, if you've never seen the Slave 2, it would really only showed up in comic books. But it is a wonky... Hey, look at that. Somebody did a microfighter of it. That's pretty high search result too. Here's an actual, somebody made it out of Lego, so that's really cool. But yeah, it's a downgrade. I don't know where so there's a gun, a thing, a gun. Like, I don't know where he sits. I don't know where the cockpit is. Like, I don't... It looks like a shoe. The Imperial forces showing up. Oh, the Dark Troopers? Yeah, that was cool. These Moes. Yeah, those guys are bad mothers. I'll tell you what. And I liked that they kind of made them robotic and threatening and terrifying. Those are really good. And the way they flew through to pick up Grogu and took off, that was a lot of really... Like, I do like that they're bringing in bits and pieces of the EU. Yeah, let's make this... Just 4 wide. What do you say? I think it only needs to be 4 wide. Which means this can be a 4x8. Let's grab one of these guys and put it over here. Oh no? Oh no, it still needs to be a 2x8. I don't know what I was thinking. Comp Force Imperial Troopers. All right, I'm going to look that up here in a second. In the trailer for Andor. The guy, the helmetless stormtroopers. Yeah. The what somebody called the stormtroopers who were actually terrifying. Why? Let's stick him on there for now. He's probably going to sit up about here. Okay. So we got a wheelbase. I always have to remember that the windows kind of sit up a little bit after the car. But now it's still 5 wide. The wheelbase is 5 wide. So we have to be careful about that because he's sitting in 4 wide. But then because of the jumper plates to get these mud flaps out here. So that may have to change later. Let's see what's next. Well, he can just sit up on any old brick for now until we get the bulk of this done. So I am making progress on my lighthouse. It's coming together pretty good. Actually, I think I want to do one more plate high. I just put in an order for a couple parts for the windmill I hope are going to work out. I'm going to try to make the windmill blades out of the fabric pieces that and I think they're soft. I can't remember if they're soft or if they're, because I don't have them anymore. They should work either way. Big rectangle pieces of material that are like orange. For the camper van, when you pop the camper van top up, it was a material that ran around the whole side of it. Get 4 of those and kind of stretch them around these curved hoses that I have. And then, plate on bar on plate or whatever to close them up. And those will be the blades for the windmill. I hope it works, because otherwise I spent $15-20 getting them for no reason. And then the rock work is almost done around the base, and I've started doing the paneling up on the lighthouse itself. That's going to be tricky. I think I might have to change my tack a little bit on that, because once you've got a circle, and you kind of press like this inside the circle to put everything together. When that tube gets really high, you have to put your whole arm in there to press everything together, because I want to make it tapered, so it's like plates. But there's this big gantry in the middle holding the light up, so I can't reach in there. So I don't know what else I'm going to do. I might try to figure out how to do it on hinges where I can kind of wrap it around and then close it up. I don't know. We'll have to see. But the rock work looks fun. I'm having fun with it. So, all right, so I'm going to get rid of this and have another. This is a 4x4 plate. I can just do bricks. Well, oops. See, it's gonna be hard to do. Like cars are weird because they're slightly curved. It's a big box, but it's slightly curved, right around the edges. And that's hard to do a very small scale. Like Speed Champions does it pretty well, but and they do it with a lot of minimal brick usage. They also have a lot of stickers, but I mean, can that go out 5? So if I did 5, what would happen? Would it conflict? Would it bump into these guys? Oh, well, first of all, it wouldn't bump into him, I don't think. Nice. Okay, so maybe make these, because these come in black. And then I can do 4 plate underneath in black. And then you guys can get out of my way because you are in the way. Really? I've never seen... Oh, I take it back. I've seen one DeLorean. Actually, no, I've seen 2. One was like a working DeLorean on the road. And this is when I lived in Colorado. The problem is they are a kit car. You have to build them. You can't buy them from a lot. Or manufacturer. Most people have them because they bought them from somebody else who made them. But as far as I know, there's no manufacturer. That may have changed. But can I put a tile down here maybe? Or maybe just a bunch of these? These aren't that expensive parts. I've got a bunch of these. But it was a real quick glance and I was like, was that the DeLorean? And then we saw a close-up of one, but it was a prop. It was a real DeLorean, but it was a Back to the Future DeLorean. And they had one at the outdoor, outside the event center here in Austin, the big one downtown, or one of the many. But it had like a lawn, and they have music on the green, or movies on the green, and they were doing Back to the Future, and they had like, you know, you get there early and it's a big inflatable screen and you camp out, and they had a DeLorean there. And so my friend Tom, I don't think I can find a picture of it because I got rid of Facebook, so I don't know how else I'm going to look this up, but he has a really good Marty McFly, and when his hair was short he kind of looked like Marty McFly. And he had the puffy vest and the right checkered colored shirt underneath, and the jeans and the high tops. And so he got a picture of himself with the Mandalorian with his sunglasses up and everything. It was really cool. So you want to kind of do panels. But I don't know how that would work. The other thing is I may need to do, because that red stripe's going to be a problem, and it's going to have to be a sticker. Wow. That, I wonder if it travels. Does he take it to different places? I know there's a handful that do that, and I'm wondering if they just go from place to place. I can't imagine driving from Pennsylvania to Austin, though. That would be a problem. Brick. Black. And then I want to do plate. Do these as trans clear, not trans brown, trans clear. That's the front window. Needs to be farther back. Gotta try to get this right. Try to get the right shape and everything. I know it's gonna be hard, but at least kind of the right look for a car. So I know right now it looks like a Model T, but he used to. I don't know if he does anymore. There's another guy. And this would have been 2009 or 8, something like that. So I mean, it's been a very long time. Or maybe it was later than that. Yeah, something like 2014, 13 is when I saw the one here in Austin. So so what I could do is make something like this. Black, black, dark gray. Oh no, it's dark gray above it. Something like that. Let's see if I can carry that around to the front. That's neat. That's really cool. Yeah, the K2000 I have on my list too. I have the non-Star Wars list. So I have the Miami Vice Corvette, Magnum PI I just put on there. I mean, he's got a Ferrari or something. Starsky and Hutch, Kit. I've already got Kit on here. A-Team, the Mach 5 from Speed Racer. And I think that's it for cars. The rest of these are spaceships. Outlaw Star. The Orville already got. Eagle 5. Yeah, the rest of these are... And that's just the non-Star Wars. So I've got a lot on here that I need to get kind of going. The Heart of Gold is another one that would... work well with the lull sphere, and I'd have to read the book again to see how the description of the Heart of Gold sounds, because I think it's different in the movie. But the Heart of Gold is just a big white sphere, and then the back half of it's kind of caved in. So if you did a lull sphere but left one side off and kind of built it in a little bit, you could probably get away with doing the same thing. Maybe make it a little bigger, a bigger lull sphere, use more pieces. It's just white, and then just stick a Zaphoid in the middle of it. Would you do Zaphoid, or would you do Dent, Arthur Dent? Well, Dent, Arthur Dent, you're going to be late. As in the late Dent Arthur Dent. I said Heart of Gold was Zaphod Beeblebrox. So that's where I'm at. So this has to angle up. And I don't know how that's going to happen. You can do cheese wedges, but then you have to do, you have to like angle them Like I could do a cheese wedge here and then just do another one a little higher up. But then in order to get the one on the other side, you kind of have to do you have to kind of friction build it in there and just kind of put it in there. So this will be fun. I'll get on it. I'm done for the night. It's after 10 o'clock. I want to thank everybody for being here on a Thursday. Watching me struggle with basic Lego building skills like LOL spheres. And coming up with a not bad version of Mr. T in studio. So on Sunday, I'll be back. I think there's nothing going on Sunday. So just making sure. But I'll be back on Sunday to build some flowers. I got the other two, the bamboo and the mini orchid. So we'll work on that on Sunday. We'll take a break from some designing stuff. So I appreciate you being here. Thanks for coming by. Have a great weekend. Do some Lego stuff. And I hope to talk to you soon. Take care.